Hello and welcome to this episode of Between the Studs. I'm your host Mark. Today I'm joined by two of my tallest Lego fan friends here. We've got Ethan.
How's it going?
And Grant.
Dude.
And the reason I've gathered these two giants here to talk today is about Lego DC sets. We've talked about Lego DC as a theme. We talked about Lego DC minifigures not too long ago. We never broken down our favorite sets. That's what we're doing today, our top 5 Lego DC sets. I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I think these two guys really know what they're talking about. So we'll start in on our list. But before we do that, what was the first time you encountered Lego DC sets? Do you have any memories of that? When did you start collecting them? I know you both probably have some of these in your collection. Want to start with you, Ethan?
Yeah, I remember I had one of the visual dictionaries of the DC sets.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember seeing all the old Lego Batman sets and some of the really early superhero sets because it was before they kind of.
Yep. So you didn't
expanded
actually
a lot.
collect them, but you were really well aware of them, and maybe even wanted to collect
That was the first exposure I had to them, and then
Mhm.
I got some of the 2012 Batman sets, which are
Yeah.
pretty cool, but the 06 ones are way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we'll see on some of you guys' lists in a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
But Grant, do you remember your first time exposed to Lego DC
I
stuff?
do. I went to the old Legoland Discovery Center up in Atlanta for I think it was my 9th birthday, and I bought the Lex Luthor armor set with Superman and Wonder Woman in it. That was the first time I had it. Then I was never really interested in it until a couple of years ago.
Okay, so more recently you've gotten into it,
Yeah,
superheroes and all that.
definitely. Yeah.
I remember seeing Lego Batman sets when they first arrived. Was it 06, 07 when they first
Mhm.
dropped?
Yeah.
And I was like, those are interesting, but I never went further than that until kind of working here. I also am a big fan of Superman, so I was starting to collect some of the figures, particularly Kryptonian figures I'm a big fan of. So I just kind of started getting into it. I mean, I would consider myself a casual fan, not a huge fan. That's why I needed help.
Right.
So, but let's get started with our top 5 list. And Ethan, you're on the point where we usually begin. So do you want to
Yeah.
introduce your first set that you want to share with us today?
Should we do save the best for last, or should we start
That's what we
with the best?
typically
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
but it's up to you.
Okay, I have them written down.
There you go.
Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah.
Grant's got them, and I've got
Yep.
my laptop here so I can have a visual
Yeah, we can
aid.
pull it up. Okay.
Oh.
I'd say we could probably start with the newest Batmobile from
Mhm.
they just did an animated series Batmobile, which is my favorite design for that car. It's I don't even think it's released yet. It's brand new, but I think it comes out August 1st.
Mhm.
But it's all blue. It comes with Batman, Harley Quinn, and Mr. Freeze.
There you go.
So pretty solid character selection. And it comes with a really cool display stand too. So
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
interesting that it's from the animated series because that isn't something they've really focused on specifically before, right? Just this
yeah,
last
they
year
just
they've
started doing animated
Yeah.
series stuff, which is great because it's my favorite version of Batman.
There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's fair.
It's a big one.
Now, we'll go ahead and say either we won't rank it, but we'll say if we approve, would we collect it,
Yeah.
Grant? So, were you interested in getting that one when it comes out? Is it not even out yet?
It comes out in a few days, I think. It's not even out.
Yeah,
yet.
well, so
Yeah.
soon as we're filming this, it should
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
If I had a more extensive DC collection, then yes, I would. I'm pretty much all in on the 06 Batman stuff now. But if I were still into the classic TV series and I was still buying it, that's an instant buy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think this is definitely something I'll be keeping my eye out for, especially if it shows up here at Atlanta
Mm.
Brick Co.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the animated series is one of those peak Batman series,
Oh, yeah.
and the big set we'll talk about later. You also have on your
Oh,
list.
yeah.
Those are some really well achieved Batman sets. So
Oh, yeah.
looking forward to those, Ethan. Great choice. Let me see. I've got a couple sets here. I'm also gonna keep it on the Batman train, and I'm gonna go with the Batman Classic TV Series Batmobile. And let's see if I can remember. It's at number 76188. And this one I like because the first time I saw any Batman properties was the old Batman Classic TV
Adam
series
West.
and the Adam West movie. That was my first experience with Batman because that was my dad's first experience with Batman, and he was like, "No, Mark Steven, you gotta get the classic Batman experience," and it was hilarious. We liked it, but it's really honestly better if you're a little kid. If
Yeah.
you watch it now, it's it's campy, it's funny, but.
Yeah.
It's
So
real cheesy.
this is very nostalgic for me because of that reason. Because you got the very, it just looks like a slightly modified, 60s, 70s car, and it's great. So you got the Cesar Romero Joker with he used to get the white mustache that he
Yeah.
refused to shave. It's so
Yes.
funny. And then you got the Batman with the white eyebrows going over his cowl. So I'd like this set a lot. I remember when it came out. I think it's not too expensive yet. Is it got even retired yet? Or
It's retired,
Yeah.
but it hasn't shot up too crazy yet.
It was in production for quite a while.
Yeah.
It seemed to sell pretty well.
Mhm.
So I think it's not too hard to collect this if you want it. But
Yeah.
is this something you would choose to add to your collection, Ethan? How do you feel about the classic Batman?
I think this particular version of it is a really good model of this 66 Batmobile. I personally don't have any connection to that Batman, but if I did, I would definitely pick up this one.
There you go. So you're not like it wasn't something you were shown as a kid. It was not something you would seek out. You're more into the animated series. Yeah. That's good.
I do appreciate that you can take off like the stud shooters or the guns in the front and how it's just sleek. I think that's a big display value.
Yeah,
Like,
they've started
bonus,
doing that,
so-
and I like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Now, Grant, do you have any connection to the classic old school Adam West Batman?
A
How do you
little bit,
feel about
yeah. I remember I watched it with my dad when I was little, and
Mhm.
then I had this set up until 3 days ago when I traded it for one of the sets on Ethan's list.
it? Okay.
So yeah, I used to have a lot of the classic TV series stuff, and that was probably one of my favorite Batmobiles. It's so nice. I love the stand, and just you can turn it around on the turntable. It's so nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best Batmobile, but it's very memorable.
Yeah.
It's iconic in its own way.
It's top 5, but it's not 1, 2, or 3. Basically.
Yeah,
It's like-
and I was about to get on you for trading in a Batman set on the DC set, but then if you traded it for another Batman set,
Yeah.
I'll totally.
It was
forgive
worth
that.
my time.
Yeah, I know that sounds like a good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, go Grant. What's the first set you want to present first?
Sure. So I guess we have 2 other Batmobiles mentioned, so I'll bring up this one. This is definitely one of my favorite Batmobiles. 76224. The technical name is Batmobile Batman versus the Joker Trace with a lot of trademarks.
3
here and
TMs in there.
Yeah, 3 trademark symbols in there. I think this is from the Tim Burton Batmans, technically. And it's just the most clean build I've ever seen in a DC set. It is so smooth. The lines are so good for the size of it, too. I know the one in as a lot of people call it, the Bat Box, which didn't make my list. It looks very similar. It's almost the exact same set. But just this one being standalone and being under $50 is great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Batmobile is supposed to be the sleekest, blackest, coolest car ever, and that really captures it. And that kind of captures what I see as the Batmobile, which is this version of it. What was the director's name again?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, that's
Yeah.
the one. Tim Burton, that era, the 80s Batman, I kind of see that as the Batmobile in my psyche, so that's definitely a great set.
Right.
Ethan, what do you think about this version of Batman, this Batmobile? Do you think it kind of holds up even compared to different versions?
I would say so. I love the Tim Burton Batman movies, especially the first one. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack's probably my favorite part of that movie. So, but yeah, anytime you hear the soundtrack, you probably think of the Batmobile.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Especially that one. So, it's a great model. I would buy it.
This is one I'm keeping an eye on because this is relatively recent, right? This is 2022 or
still
3.
retail price. I think it's 2023. Came out last summer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Definitely
Fantastic.
a solid.
Yeah.
set.
Awesome. Well, good, Grant. Yeah, I think we'd all say, we definitely collect that. If we were expanding our Batman collections, I think we're all running out of space in our Lego room. So we're having to be careful with our choices now. But, yeah. Ethan, what's the second set you want to bring up for us?
I guess we could stay on the animated series train and go with the Gotham City set that just came out. It's 76 271. It's the set number. It's basically just a giant, mosaic of Gotham City. I just finished building it, and it's so cool. There's so many hidden panels you can take off and find the Batcave or Arkham Asylum or
Nice.
there's so many little Easter eggs. It's really cool. And then the figures are great as well.
I was about to ask. It comes with a bunch of figures,
It
right?
comes with a little stand of them, and you get the Joker, which is so cool. I think the rest of them, besides Catwoman, you get Catwoman in there as well.
Yeah.
But the Batman and the Harley Quinn are almost the same as the Batmobile.
The
Gotcha.
Joker in that is sick, too. I love
He's
that
so
Joker.
cool.
I love that
love
Joker.
Mark Hamill's Joker.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's one set that we saw the leaks for on the morning break, and we were like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, this is some much better than the
Yeah.
Bat Box."
Yeah.
So that one we were excited
It
about.
also, when I was building, I noticed it had 2 slots in the back, so you can hang it up on the wall if you don't have any shelf space, which
Wow.
is nice. I don't know how sturdy it is. Mine's on a shelf.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Mentally, I think I'd want to put that on a shelf for sure. But if the
I'd
fact
be
that
scared to do it.
maybe it's
Yeah.
strong enough, let
Yeah,
us
I
know
don't
in the
know.
comments if you've hung it up. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty crazy.
It's a really great set, though.
Now, Grant, as you're getting more into Batman, I know you're focusing more on the old original first wave sets, but how do you feel about this latest animated series stuff?
I love it because we hadn't really gotten it before. Like you said, the Mark Hamill Joker is really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The fig selection is really nice, so if I were to get anything, I would just stick with the figs. That's kind of that's where I'm leaning with DC right now. Anyway, I mean, most of it is just characters. At the end of the day, the builds like this build. This is a set that you buy for the build. It's only got 2 generic Batman and Jokers, but the build's really cool. So, in the same way, I like the figs, and then the build in that is really really cool. It's a good backdrop if you have a good big DC collection anyway. So.
Yeah, lots of great colors.
Almost a centerpiece, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it really could be.
Yeah.
Now, before we go too much further, is Mark Hamill your favorite version of the Joker, or is it like a couple other ones and there's like a Heath Ledger sneaking in there?
I would say it's Mark Hamill then Heath Ledger.
Okay,
right there.
very close.
Heath Ledger below Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
Wow.
The hot take.
I can respect
I don't know.
it.
I love Heath Ledger. He did amazing, but it's just my personal opinion.
Mark Hamill is a great voice actor.
I just prefer the Mark Hamill Joker.
That's fair.
Yeah.
When I think of Joker, that's 2 of the names that come up in my mind. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Grant? You in that range too?
Yeah, I would say probably Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, and then everything else would be like down here.
Yeah.
Not down here.
They're in that grouping down below.
Those are the 2 tops.
I agree.
Yeah.
It is funny how Mark Hamill was the Joker and then he was the trickster in The Flash too. That was that's still so weird to me how he popped up in DC twice.
Fascinating. All right, well, I'm going to bring up my next set here, and this is going to be speaking of The Flash, I wanted to bring up something that's a little different. Because I wanted you guys, the experts, to pick first. I'm doing my usual, which is picking what's left. There weren't a lot of amazing Batman sets after you guys both go. I got 1 or 2 here and there, but there's a lot of other DC properties and characters which really, only been barely fleshed out in Lego. Like, we only have a couple versions of The Flash. So here's one of those examples: a Speed Force Freeze Pursuit. This is from Justice League, set number 76098. Has a bunch of minifigures. I'm looking at them right here. We've got Cyborg, Killer Frost, Reverse Flash, and the Flash with the gold outline. It's like the lightning-looking effects on his chest. So I don't really know that much about the Flash. I've only seen a few clips. I haven't seen the latest movie, probably for good reason.
It sucks. Don't watch it.
But I think the characters, obviously there's tons of comics, great storylines, very meaningful, lots of people, and I like the character, super iconic. So this is something I would choose to collect. I actually do want to Reverse Flash and Flash at some point, and I think it'll be more meaningful once I get more into the story.
Right.
But what do you guys feel about the Flash? What do you guys feel about this set? I know that Reverse Flash in particular can be kind of collectible if you get him in good shape.
Yeah.
Ethan, what do you think?
Personally, I don't see much in the build. I think it's okay, but the figures are definitely a good standout. The Cyborg looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a nicer version of Cyborg. He's kind of all silver.
I do appreciate like the headpiece on him, and then the Reverse Flash is cool. Yeah, I still kind of wish they would give that Flash the dual molded like yellow boots. I don't know if they've done that, but I think that'd be a good
that would be perfect. You're right. Yeah, I don't know if that. I'm pretty sure that piece exists somewhere, right?
Yeah. I'm sure it does. You could put it on.
Somebody's got to have done that. Anyway, Grant, what do you think about the Reverse Flash and Flash, and what do you think about the set too?
I agree with Ethan. You would buy this for the figs if you bought it.
I think everyone did. Yeah.
in the same way, I almost put an honorable mention for mine is the Blue Beetle set because you would just buy that for the Batman and the Blue Beetle.
I was looking at that too because I think that one also has Killer Moth in it too.
Yeah, it does. Those 4 figs are a perfect lineup for a set. I think when that set came out, it was like $30-$40.
Yeah.
So that was an insane deal back in the day. So for the figs, definitely a good set.
Appreciate it. Yeah. It's interesting to know that there's Batman gets most of the attention of DC, and rightfully so, but I'd love to see more fleshed out. Unfortunately, the latest Flash movie probably puts a damper on any Flash Lego sets coming out soon, but maybe with the new DC movies,
I'm pretty sure
we'll see some more.
They actually had like a Flash Batmobile, and then they canceled it.
Yeah. Dang it.
Like they had the figure. Like there's been like factory leaks of just pictures of just the Ezra Miller Flash, and they canceled the whole set.
We understand, but it's just too bad.
The movie was not good.
Too bad that all unraveled at the end for everyone.
Yeah.
But Grant, what's the next one you want to present for us here?
So I have a little switch up. It's 70907. It's Killer Croc's Tailgater from the Batman movie, which by the way is the best of all of the Lego movies.
The Lego Batman movie,
Easily.
Yeah, it's so good. And just the fig selection alone, and the build itself is pretty nice. But I mean, the Killer Croc, all the other figs involved in that are just so good. It's so out there, which was. I think that was what made the Batman movie funny and just good in general was the fact that it was out there, it was humorous, and that kind of embodies it.
Larger than life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
His figure is right past that Egyptian mummy grab him there. You can
him.
show him off in front of the camera.
Right next to that Galador figure.
Yes, I have a collection of some of the big figs there, and there's Killer Croc. He looks great.
That's in all his glory. He's so nice. So cool. So.
I love how he's got the classic Lego alligator head with just a giant body. It's perfect. So now, Ethan, when we're talking about the Lego Batman movie and like the cool characters within it, how does that rank in your Batman universe? Do you like enjoy it as one of your favorites, or is it just kind of off in its own thing?
I would see it off as its own thing, but I also love that movie, and I think the character designs were fantastic. I really like the Killer Croc. I also really like the Bane Big Fig. I think that was a really nice touch. I would probably say this Killer Croc figure is probably like in the top 2 for sure.
Yeah. They've only made a couple versions of Killer Croc, and this is a phenomenal.
It's a great one. So, it's got the Lego charm without being too silly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so. It's a great.
I wish I had purchased this set just because I love this figure so much. Cool. I got this set in my possession, but I had it as a prize to give away in a contest back in 2017 when this was out, and I wish I had won my own contest that I could keep it. No, it's a great set. So awesome, Grant. Moving on. Ethan, is this your third set you want to present?
This is,
There you go.
So I'm going to go with the Batwing and Joker's Aerial Assault. It's one of the original 2006 ones. Set number is 7782. One of the reasons why I really do like this set is specifically the Joker figure. It reminds me a lot of the Mark Hamill Joker.
Yep.
And then I'm pretty sure the helicopter design is pretty much taken out of the 1989 Batman movie.
Yep.
It looks almost identical. And then the Batwing itself is huge, and it's got a nice display stand, so you can kind of like have it sitting down, and then it'll just kind of look like the Bat emblem. So I think that's a great touch. And then it also comes, the Batman figure is the main like Batman character you play in the video game.
Yeah, so he's like the main character. Yeah.
So that's also a great one to get. I think it's one of the most iconic Batman figures.
And that one really set the stage for superhero sets in general.
Yeah, because that was a great one. I know they've remade that one several times, and it's just never been as good as the original.
That one really captures the imagination. So. Now, Grant, this is kind of within the range of things you're trying to collect, right? Do you have this one in your collection?
Not yet. I have. Which is it? The gray black or the black Batman?
The gray one.
Okay, so that's one of the Batmans I don't have right now. I'm probably gonna get it.
That's a great one. Yeah,
I might get it today or tomorrow. But yeah, that is the best of those Batmans, honestly. Because it's the one you play in the game, and that Joker is like perfect.
If I actually just put him online, he's about $80 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's very collectible, which I can see why. But great figures, great build. Yeah.
Do you think the association with a video game is kind of adding to that collector's value?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it has to. Especially I feel like for me and you, it does.
Yeah, especially our generation was very attached to those.
I was a little too old for it.
I still have the game on the Wii. I still play it to this day. It's still fun.
And it also, that game has the same soundtrack as the '89 movie. It does, which is, I think, why I love that soundtrack so much. But
correlation of it.
Lots of fond memories with that.
That's awesome.
Video game and that set.
Now, is that the first Lego Batman game, or is it the sequel?
That's the first one.
First
the original, which in my opinion is the best one.
Gotcha. The sequel was what, 2011 or 2012?
2012, I think.
Yeah, 2012.
That one had a better storyline, but it's just not as nostalgic for.
It's not as iconic.
It's like those old Star Wars games just hit different. So does the old Batman game. Yeah, so.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Right on.
I never played the Batman games. I need to just get an old Wii and try it out because that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Definitely. Yeah. Well, obviously we'd all choose to collect that because even I remember seeing that in the magazine as a younger adult. So. Yeah. But very cool. Well, I will start with my second set. We've been talking about a lot of Batman. I'm going to change it up just a little bit, and you guys might not like this set. Because this I don't think is as much your generation as mine. Maybe, I don't know. But this is Superman: Battle of Smallville, and I'm a big Superman fan. So in contrast to you guys, I'm guessing he's not as popular with you guys. But I remember watching Christopher Reeves as Superman as a little kid. He was the coolest thing back in the day. And I also really liked Man of Steel. I know it's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I like the way they presented Superman. I love the Kryptonian design with their cool space suits.
That's very cool.
I'm like hit and miss with Zack Snyder films overall, but I thought this one was fine. But the figures that they created for this movie and for this set are really fun. I love the Kryptonian armor designs. They're super detailed. I would click on them, but Bricklink is currently down right now. And then you got the dark blue suit on Superman, which looks nice. I thought it was a good version of Superman. So this set, I think I have all the figures from it, probably more than one copy of each figure, but I don't have the set itself, and the build itself is like $20 in the case right now, 20% off, so I should just go grab it. But so it's not like super expensive as far as the build, but the figures, I think the Kryptonians have gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they're like in that 20-30 range now.
That sounds right.
So, but what do you guys think about Superman? What do you guys think about Zack Snyder and the Kryptonians? How did you guys feel about all that when you were exposed to it? Let's start with it, Grant.
So I didn't really watch much Superman. Like I never
Okay.
saw Man of Steel. I've mostly just been a Batman and Flash type of guy.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say with this set especially is that DC compared to Marvel, the figures are so much better.
Yeah.
The figures are so much better, and that
Very
set kind of
true.
proves it because you can have a kind of like less appreciated movie and still have a good set with really really nice figures, and those figures are all really nice and pretty detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So that's my take on it.
Yeah, you might have some, like the Colonel guy has plain legs, but that's it. Everything
Yeah.
else is like super detailed and printed.
That's
and molded.
Marvel's issue is they have a lot of figures with no
it's
leg printing.
almost all plain legs.
Yeah.
Especially in the early 2000s,
Mhm.
like 10s and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about Superman? How do you feel about those Kryptonian figures, Ethan?
I love Superman. I thought The Man of Steel was a great movie.
Hey, there we go.
I will not lie, I'm very excited for the newer one with
Yes.
James Gunn, because I feel like that'll be more true to Superman's
Could be
character.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still thought this movie was great.
Mm-hmm.
Very solid figures. The builds aren't bad either. I think those are really cool as well.
Mhm. They're going
especially
off
since
the
you
movie.
get, like some military vehicles. That's nice.
Yeah.
I think the Kryptonians are definitely a standout though, with the custom helmets and shoulder pads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
very
was-
great figures.
I was
yeah.
talking. It might have been Daniel the other day. It might have even been on Between the Studs. But we were talking about figures and like they didn't even realize they were Lego because they're so detailed. So it's
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, so glad you guys like it. Glad you guys have appreciation for it. It's not everyone's going to collect it, but I certainly am. I think for tank battles, I want to make a Kryptonian army and have a
that
couple
would be
vehicles
sick.
because you imagine they'd be like super
pretty
powered.
sick. That'd actually be pretty sick.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Grant, what's the third set you want to bring up for us?
Okay, I'll go. I had two in mind. I'm gonna do set 7787, the Bat Tank, versus the Riddler. I think. It's
Oh
called.
yeah, we got it right here.
Yeah, we have the build for the Bat Tank itself in store right now, and I think you want to talk about play value of any of those original sets, and this has it the most, I think, because it's really solid, and then you had that little gate so you can move the figures around, and the gate itself looks nice. They look good displayed next to each other, and then the figures are obviously what make the set. You have Riddler, Bane, and that blue Batman, and that Bane is like unreal how collectible he is now.
Yeah.
And all it is I think it's just
He's a very plain figure.
head and
yeah.
the torso are exclusive. That's it. But just the set itself, I mean, I had to end up picking one from that 06 line.
Yeah.
And that was the one I picked. That was between that one or the boat, but this one's so much better.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a bigger set, so it's really, really nice.
Yeah.
I remember that one dropping in the magazine. Again, I just kind of saw them in the magazine, didn't get a chance to buy them, but I'm like, okay, that's pretty insane. The Bat Tank just plowing through a gate,
Yeah.
fighting Bane. That's pretty awesome.
Pretty sick.
So,
Yeah.
love the trans neon green use there. I don't think you see that a lot with Batman, that color, because
No.
it's not as used anymore. But
Yeah.
well, now Ethan, you're a big fan of these classic Batman sets as well. How do you
I
feel
am.
about the Bat Tank?
I think it's awesome. The figures are fantastic. I wish I could afford to buy one like that. I think the Bane's like pushing $250 now,
Yeah.
Wow.
which is just
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh my
it's not worth
goodness.
it to me, but yeah, I think the set's amazing. I would totally buy it if it was still retail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like even this tank here, we have just the tank vehicle by itself with I think there's a few accessories inside. That's $120, but it's 20% off.
Yep.
So that's a good deal if you just want the
It is a
vehicle.
good deal,
Exactly.
yeah.
But if you want the figures, they're a whole nother
I
planet.
can't even
So,
imagine
yeah.
buying it new sealed today.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
It'd probably be $1,000.
We've gotten a certified one, and it was several $100s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was expensive.
Very
So.
cool.
And I think honestly, the best you mentioned buying them sealed. Some of the coolest part, I think a lot of people who like these agree with me too. The boxes for
Oh,
these with
yeah.
with
They're
the with
fantastic.
embossed boxes with the little raised printing. Oh my gosh, those are so cool.
Yeah.
That was the thing they were
I love
doing in the
those.
or like the
Yep.
mid late 2000s.
They're really shiny. You can feel them up. Oh my gosh, they're
It's
so
the
cool.
best.
They're
Yeah.
so cool.
It's
Yeah.
in some ways Lego peaked back in those
Oh,
days. You
They-
know, it's like
they
it's
did,
crazy.
especially with the video game tie-ins. It
Yes.
was
Yes.
the time to be.
And then
like,
Power Miners was out in 08, right? So like mid to
Yeah,
late 2000s,
yeah, Power
and then
Miners as well.
Star Wars was really really good then.
That
too,
was
yeah.
some
It was
Clone
great.
Wars. Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway,
Good time.
we're gonna get
Golden
into a year recap here in a
Yeah.
second. But moving on, Ethan, what's the next set you want to present for us?
I'll go with the Arkham Asylum, set
Mm.
number 7785. It's the original Arkham Asylum.
Yep.
I mean, it's one of the best original Batman sets. It comes with the Nightwing figure
Mhm.
from 2006, which is like one of my favorites. I still need to get one. It also comes with, I think, the Riddler, Poison Ivy,
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
glow-in-the-dark head
is a really
Scarecrow.
good Scarecrow figure. Comes with a basic Batman, still a nice one.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I think it also comes with like a big like ambulance van that has like a cool like strap down for the prisoners, which is cool.
Because they're all foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, they're all crazy.
Now, that Nightwing figure, does it have that rubber hairpiece?
He does.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it looks
anime
awesome.
looking hairpiece.
Yeah, and I think I remember there's also like a function in the jail cells that like you can push the lever and they all open up.
Yeah, you pull it out and then all the doors go from here to open.
I love like
so
little
cool.
play features
It's
like
so
that.
cool.
I think it's so like just fun.
Yeah.
Of course, there's an open all doors button on the dash somewhere.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Pretty
Yeah.
sick.
And now, Grant, this is like right in your collection target zone.
Yeah.
And do you have this one yet?
That was when I traded in that classic Batmobile. That was one of the ones I traded. I traded the majority of my non-06 DC stuff for that set specifically. And I got home, put it on the shelf, and the first thing I did was pull that lever to open the doors.
That's so satisfying.
It looks so nice. It's probably the best for a display value out of all of those, honestly. Just because it's really easy to display. It's pretty small, but it's got enough substance to it.
Got some architecture there.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah. And this one, because of all those cool figures, is probably pretty expensive.
It's very collectible.
Yeah. And if only, like, I think that, is it true that the older Batman sets, like the first wave, they might not have sold amazingly, and that's why they were a little hard to find? Or just think that people, like Lego wasn't selling much in general in that year? What do you guys think about that? Do you even have any memories of that? Like, were they on sale?
I never remember seeing them on the shelves because I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
But I think our generation is starting to look back on those sets and is like, oh my gosh, like I remember these. And then they're just buying them all up, which is driving the price up. So it's very unfortunate for us who don't have them. But yeah, I think there's a lot of nostalgia behind that first wave.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that in 08, 09, there was, like, economic times were not great, so not everyone was getting the Arkham Asylum for Christmas. They were getting something else.
Right.
So that might be people looking back and kind of buying back the childhood that they missed. So
people who are either you and I's age or like in their mid-20s who, when they were like 10, that came out. Now they have big kid money and they're actually able to buy them.
Exactly.
And once someone buys it for $500, next person's going to sell it for $600. That next person's going to buy it for $600 and snowballing.
Stairs and a ladder. Yep.
Exactly.
It's painful.
It is very painful.
You guys, and at least working here, you guys both have an opportunity to see. Like Grant, you actually traded for some. That's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, and I didn't. Those figures especially have gone up in the last like 2 years. I lucked out and got most of them about a year and a half ago before they went expensive.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, those can. Some of them I know that like the certain colors can break too, like the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
From that set.
Yeah.
My Scarecrow, the issue with him is, and I know a lot of other figs from that time too, his torso is really stiff. Same thing with his legs, because that older reddish brown tends to
be real careful.
Yeah, I barely move him. Yeah.
There you go.
So.
All right. Well, this is a more recent set that I'll be bringing up here in just a second. This is from the Lego Batman movie, which I really enjoyed as well. And this is the Joker's Notorious Lowrider. And I was a big fan of pretty much all the character designs in the movie, and the Joker was no exception. Of course, he kind of made half the movie, right? Because he's in it a lot, and he's riding around in his vehicle, and he's the perfect nemesis for Batman. He just wants to get his attention, really. Right. And this vehicle was fun. I've seen it in the store a number of times. I really should own it. I think I actually own parts of it. Like, I've gotten bulk pieces, and I'm like, oh, that's from the Lowrider. Anyway, this is a fun set. It was pretty affordable when it came out. It's also pretty big, so it's sizable. It's like the nemesis of the Batmobile, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I don't think in the comics or anything Joker's known for having a special vehicle, but I think it's fun that he would have one.
He just catches rides from other people.
The figures are pretty basic. You've got the Batgirl, you've got the Harley Quinn, and you got the Joker. But he's got a little vest, so he's a little different.
Right.
Yeah. But what do you guys think about the Joker iteration here? And what do you think about the Joker having his own specific vehicle? I know they're doing it because it's like Lego's making this a toy to sell. Yep. But what do you guys feel about this creation?
I personally really like it. I was watching the '89 Batman movie a few days ago, and I noticed they actually do have cars very similar to this one, chasing the Batmobile. So I think that's probably where they got the idea from.
Okay.
So yeah, I enjoy it. I think the figures are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, all around a great set. If I was collecting all the Lego Batman movie sets, this would be one I'd for sure want to pick up.
Yeah. There you go. Now, Grant, you're not collecting the Lego Batman movie sets right now, are you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
How do you feel about this version of the Joker, though?
I think for the time, if you were to get one Lego Batman movie set, this would be the set that you'd get.
There you
because
go.
Because it was like $25 or $30 when it came out, so you get 3 figs and a really, really nice build. That's a great set to buy. It's probably had a lot of Christmas presents in it. So it's just a really just well made overall set, I think.
Yeah, I can't look at the pricing because the Bricklink is currently down. I do have the picture loaded up, and I do know that we got a lot of these traded into the store, which means that a lot of people got them, and it might not have stuck around, but for me it did. I definitely remember this vehicle, so I think it'll hopefully not be too crazy expensive if you want to collect it down the road. So yeah, kind of the opposite of the 06, 07 Batman.
Right.
But Grant, what's the next one you want to present for us here?
So I'll do 76052. It's the classic TV series Batcave. It's gotta be in the conversation somewhere. Surprisingly, not as expensive as you'd expect from what the retail value was, which is a good thing because I think everyone should own this set. I personally don't, but there's so many good figures. You get the classic Robin, classic Joker, classic everything really. You even get Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, Alfred. So the whole gang from that show, and then obviously you have the play feature of the poles going down where you can switch their costumes, all that.
Yeah.
You get the helicopter. I think you get a little. Oh no, you get another model of the Batmobile, actually, the original model of the Batmobile. So really everything involved that you would need, you get in that set. So it's just really well balanced.
A fantastic set. I've already expressed how much I like the classic TV series Batman, and it definitely captures that spirit well. This is, like we said, pretty collectible, but I've seen it coming in here a couple times. Like, it's in circulation, so if you are saving up your pennies and you're paying attention, you can find it. It's not quite as bad as the first wave Batman sets. Now, Ethan, what do you feel about this iteration of the Batcave, going back to the classic stuff?
I actually really like this one. I wish they would have done something similar with the '89 Batcave.
Yes.
Because, to get off topic, I do like the shadow box idea. I think it's fun, but it just does not display well at all.
No.
Yeah.
At least when you put it on a shelf next to other things.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as going back to the '66 Batcave, though, I think it has just about everything you'd want in a Batcave. Tons of figures, great play features. Yeah, I think it looks great on display as well, especially with like the Wayne Manor backing on the tower. So I think it's all around a great set for any Batman fan.
Yeah, a lot of dark tan, and I also like the you got the wallpaper bricks in the
Yeah,
back. Those are kind of cool, so pretty fun.
The sliding bookcase is fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Lots of little tricks and Easter eggs. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, a great set, Grant. I think that's one we'd all choose to collect if we had a big Batman room, which we don't. We're not quite in that position right now. But Ethan, do you have one more for us?
I do.
Yeah,
I saved the best for last.
You did.
The Batcave from 2006, the 7783. Easily the crown jewel of all the Batman sets, in my opinion. I actually just bought it from the store recently. Built it with my fiance, and it was awesome. I got I actually came with a fresh sticker sheet as well, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah.
I did put the stickers on. It felt bad, but it looks so good.
Yeah.
So
hey, they're gonna be good, fresh, air conditioned, good. Yeah. That's
it comes with the Bat jet ski, giant jail cell, a bat signal with a grenade launcher on it.
Yeah.
The Alfred minifigure is really cool, as well as the Robin. I really like those
Robin's
figures.
sick.
That's
so cool.
And then you get Mr. Freeze and the Penguin, and then he has a little submarine, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Even Robin's little bit too.
Yeah, you get that, and then it's a giant platform for the Bat jet ski, which is so fun.
Sweet.
And then the computer is just fantastic.
The huge.
That's
screen.
where those stickers come on. Yeah, dude, I can see where you're getting nervous.
Yeah, I would say the one weakness to that set is if you get it, used, you're going to have beat up stickers, probably just because they're so big and fragile. But the fact that you got a new sticker sheet is just a phenomenal.
I've wanted that since I was probably 8 years old. I finally found it, and I was like, oh my gosh.
There we go.
I immediately bought it,
That's why these sets are going up in value, is that experience, that amazing life experience.
It's the nostalgia.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
Now, I'm going to go back to you again, Grant. Do you have this one yet? Or not?
I do.
Yeah, there we go.
So I acquired it via the fact that we didn't have any of the figures for it in the back, but we had it in the box, fully inventoried, minus the little Joker bomb piece. So I got the build for it, and then I have all the figures, except for Mr. Freeze's little white light cord piece, which is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But I have the complete set now, except for Bruce Wayne, too. But it's so cool. It is probably the grail of DC sets, if you ask me. It's the most expensive for obvious reasons. But the figure selection's perfect. It's like what we said with the classic TV series Batcave. It's got everything you need in a Batcave, but that just does it better. Those 6 ones does it better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this really set the tone for every Batcave set afterwards. Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah. And they all pale in comparison. Nothing even comes
slightly
close.
downgraded each time, right?
Yeah. Especially before they started doing the '89 stuff, it was getting really bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe the animated series stuff is bringing it back for some DC fans.
I'm still kind of hoping we'll get a Batcave from the animated series. That would be super cool. I hope they keep doing stuff from that show.
I think the Batcave, as long as it's well executed, can be kind of a perennial
because that one has such a cool color scheme in the show. So it's just me daydreaming.
We'll see. At the end, we'll have to ask what our dream Batman or DC set will be. But I'll present mine. This is going to be a downer for you guys, I think. But this is now. Do you say Dark Side or Dark Seed? Because I've heard.
I said Dark Side.
Dark Side. I'm going to go Dark Side. Yeah. But Dark Side Invasion here, 2015. Set number 76028. I like this one a lot. And what's funny is when I first started working here at Atlanta Brick Co., which was not too many years after this set had released. This is all we had on the store shelves. Like, everyone traded this one in. I think they just wanted the figures. But I think the vehicle actually holds up pretty well, too. You got the Justice League jet there. It's pretty awesome. I really like the Hawkman figure. He's got that awesome gold headgear piece. Darkseid is an awesome big fig. We really haven't seen him since. So a cool version of that. You got Green Arrow and a basic Superman, and I think Cyborg's in there, too. So a good selection of figures. A good little scene to have a battle in your Lego city. I love to see other DC characters. I feel like Darkseid is one of those big kind of Thanos version of
basically
I think that they were just reaching out a little bit into some of the purple characters like Hawkman and Green Arrow, but they didn't quite capitalize on that. But what do you guys think about the Justice League and kind of extended DC characters versus just kind of so much into the Batman stuff? What do you feel about this? Let's go with Grant.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think Darkseid, this is the only set he comes in, and he's there's only 2 other big figs in DC, right? You had a
couple, Bane.
Movie Croc and Movie Bane, right? I think that's it.
I think so, yeah.
So, Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd, yeah, that's right.
Glad we have Ethan here.
Yes, yeah. I say I'm a Flash fan, then I forget Gorilla Grodd. I think, again, for figures, it's a really good set. The Jet's all right. It's not perfect, but it is good for the times as well.
Decent little build.
Yeah, 2015 was an interesting time for Lego. They had a lot of hit or miss stuff. The Darkseid itself is really cool. And then Hawkman, Green Arrow, Hawkman, like, there's some obscure figures, so it doesn't really make sense, but having the figures in Lego form is nice.
Yeah. They were just kind of throwing in some random characters, which we really haven't seen a lot since, so it's pretty fun. What do you think, Ethan? How do you feel about the Justice League? Are they just paling in comparison to Batman?
I would chuck the build in the bulk bin, but I would keep all the figures. I really like the figures. I love Darkseid, especially after watching the Justice League, Zack Snyder cut thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool.
Exactly.
I think the Hawkman's cool as well. I think all the figures are really nice.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty sad we don't get many like DC expanded characters anymore. It's just kind of Batman.
Yeah, I definitely looking at the DC sets that were available to choose from. I'm like, I really like Darkseid. He was a very menacing background presence in the Zack Snyder version. I'm like, this is as close as we got to him. So, but yeah, I've also chucked that ship in the bin a few times just because it was in the bulk. It's very affordable, nice white slopes. It's good. But yeah, now before we get too much further, let's ask this one question first. We're talking about James Gunn doing more DC sets. What's a DC movie that you would instantly watch? Like if they came out in theater, you would have to be lined up at the door to watch it. You guys have anything that comes to mind? I know just the Superman movie. I'm going to go watch pretty early.
For that,
but I've also seeing Jason Momoa as Lobo. I'd love to see that too.
I think that's decent casting.
Yeah. What are some of the characters, more obscure characters that you're thinking of?
Obscure. I don't know, Grant. Do you
I think I was about to say they can't even call it obscure, but if they made a movie with Grant Gustin's Flash, if they made a movie out of that, I'd go watch it because the show was cool enough, and that's really all I can. All I can
Flash.
think of, or an Arrow, the same way the Arrow movie, like that'd be a cool rated R type of DC.
There's literally dozens of very unique characters that really haven't seen a lot of love. So
I would really enjoy if they did the Red Hood story. They've never done that with live action.
Ever,
So I think if they got good casting, I think that would be a very interesting watch.
It's totally possible. He could show up in one of these movies,
I know.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, cool. All right, Grant, let's hear your set, and we can ask one more question after that.
So 70922, this is, I think, technically the most expensive DC set. Sealed, it's probably in it's duking it out with the old Batcave, the Joker Manor. It is the biggest DC set ever released. I'm pretty sure.
Parts count wise, volume wise.
Maybe the UCS scale Batmobile has that parts count, but talk about just like size. It has so many good figures. You got all those disco figures that
Those
only
are
appear,
awesome, yeah.
and they're so expensive. They're so collectible.
Yeah.
That's amazing how that's really shot up.
And they only show up, I think, in the credits of the movie. I'm pretty sure
They
that's
do,
it.
yeah.
But all those are just like the Alfred, Harley Quinn, Batman, Robin. Or actually, that Robin was actually a Nightwing in the Joker Man, which
That
is
is a
really
nice
cool.
Nightwing.
Yeah, with just the plain black bat wings. It's really, really cool. Really, really collectible. A lot of people who aren't even really DC fans, they're just Lego collectors, have the Joker Man, are just sad because it's so collectible.
Big, colorful carnival ride going through it.
Yes.
3D models.
Yes.
A lot to like in there.
Kind of captures Batman movies. So.
Ethan, is this one that you would ever add to your collection if you had an expanded Batman room? What do you think?
I definitely would. Something with this set in particular I've always wished it could do is I wish you could transform it back into Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really nice feature. I wish they would have added.
As a mock, you could possibly.
You
The
could.
color
You have
version.
to do a lot of work.
A lot
to
of
get
work,
back to the
yeah.
normal, but yeah, I think this is an awesome set. I think the color scheme's great. Figures are awesome. Great build.
Yeah. This is one that we see come in every now and then, and it's usually built, and it still sells for a lot, and it doesn't last more than a week.
No,
so it's
rarely.
pretty
Rarely.
cool
Yeah.
collectible set. Well, awesome, Grant. Yeah. The last question I had for you would be, with the new James Gunn movies coming out, what kind of Lego sets are you hoping for to see? Like, is it more animated series? Is it going to be something more like the 06 or 89 Batman? What are you guys feeling? Anything that comes to mind?
I'll always go with the animated series stuff, so if we get anything more from that, I will probably buy it.
There you go.
A Batcave and a Batwing would definitely be on my
Yes.
top
I mean,
priority.
they're kind of like essentials too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much flagships. of
Anything
that
come to
series.
mind for you, Grant?
I think if anything, as long as it would stick to the same line, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
As long as they don't release 2 sets from this line, 2 sets from this line, and then the next year they release 1 set from this line and 2 from this line. Just stick on the same track and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Be consistent.
Yes,
Right. You're looking
exactly.
for more consistency because
Exactly.
Batman has been like you get a set here or there, and it's
And DC itself, Lego DC has basically turned into Lego Batman. They just haven't really fully rebranded it yet because they don't really make much
On
else.
that note, one thing I'd love to see is some older Superman stuff. And I know it's never going to happen.
That's right.
But like a old, like his base with the cool white crystal
a lot
line
of
and
older
stuff.
Lego
That would
fans
be
would really
awesome.
enjoy that.
I mean, even
Yeah.
just like a little vignette size thing with his
Yeah.
little crystal command center. I mean, that'd be so cool,
Yeah,
you know?
like
I'd love
Christopher
that.
Reeves.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So-
would love that.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
Some throwbacks for
Yeah.
maybe not Batman. We get plenty of Batman. We can use more Batman, but there's I like Superman. And some of the
Superman
other characters.
fans have definitely been gypped.
We've been
As far as
suffering.
Batman fans.
We only have a couple versions of the figure. We need a few more, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for joining me and sharing your thoughts about these DC sets. I've actually learned a lot, and I know what to look out for now, especially those 06, 07,
Oh, yeah.
or early Batman
They're our
stuff.
favorites, Yeah.
If I see those figures come in, I'll be keeping an eye out for them. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you all for watching this video. Really appreciate you joining us today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps this video reach more people. We'll be back with more streams and videos very soon. So we'll see you then. Bye bye.